Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to look at Cucumber and the example syntax. So, first of all, if you haven't looked it up yet, then look up cucumber.io. Here we have there's something called the 10-minute tutorial. Here there's a lot of good examples with all of the basic stuff and all of the basic syntax that you would actually need. And there's something called using variables and examples right here. So if you click that one right here, then you can see that it's possible to add examples to your syntax. And what does that do? It actually runs the previous scenario, which is up here, and then it will run it once per example that you have right here. So you have day, that is the first column is the first row, that is the column name. So here we have day, and you can also see we have day as a variable right there. We have example, we have another variable right here, and then we have the variable values. Those are mentioned right there. This means that actually this scenario will be run 3 times. Once for each row and set of variables that we have right here. So this is what we're going to try in our own projects. And if you haven't seen my other video about how to get started with Java and Spring Boot and Cucumber, then watch that video first, because then you would end up with something called Cucumber My Steps like this. And then you would also have some cool tests like we have it right here. So first of all, we need something to test, right? So we're going to create something. We're going to create a greetings service, and then we're going to use that. We're going to test that. So what are we going to do? We are going to add this new file, which is a greetings test.feature like this. And yes, we're going to add it like that. And again, we can just I can take the syntax from another test, and I can just copy paste it like this right here. And I can paste it in like that. And here we can then say that we want to test the greetings service for correct return messages or something like that. And then we have one scenario that says introduce yourself, and then say hi. And then we can invent something like when we introduce ourselves as, and then this is the variable, this is the name. Then we can say then please say. And here then we can say, then we have a greeting like this. It could be like greeting. Yeah, we could have one greeting, and then we can say name like this. So then it will say hi, or Mike, for instance, if it's Mike. So this is actually our scenario that we have right here. Let us just see what it complains about. Only scenario outline could have an example. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it is because we need to say that it should be a scenario outline. It cannot be a scenario, it needs to be a scenario outline like this. So now it's an outline. That means that is a template for running the examples right there. Okay, so now we say, we can say greeting, and then we say name like this. And here we say hi, and again hi. In this test right here, we always say hi. That is just to make it a bit simple. So here we can say hi Mike, hi Henrik, hi Lillian. So now we have some variable values, right? We have greeting, which is always the same, and then we have Mike right there. Okay, so what about these steps? We have not defined these steps yet. We have not defined the service even. So let us go define the service as the first thing up here. So I'll go to space. I'll say create new package, greeting, and then we go back and we say create a new class first, please. New Java class, and this should be our service greeting service. This is what we want to test actually, right? So we have greeting service right here. Then we say add service. We can say add SL4J. What else do we need? We need a required ask constructor if we want to inject something, and then we have a public string greet, and then a name right here, string name, And for this example right here, we want to keep it simple, so we will just return hi, and then the name like this. Of course, you can also use the string format actually if you want to. String dot. Let us do that actually. String format %s because it's a string, and then we say comma name instead. It's a bit nice. It's always a bit nicer to use the string formatter, and you have also more options on how to format your string. So hi and the name. This is our greeting service right here. Now we want to use that, so that means that we go back to our tests, and then we do not have a step like this yet, so let us create the step definition. Create all step definitions, yes, that's okay. Create new file. Then we say greeting, step definitions, and we'll add that. So we have the step definition right there. Let us put it in a Cucumber glue folder actually. So here we have this one right here. Then we say when we introduce ourselves as this name, then do something. This should actually be the annotation that we have right here. So let me just delete that. I think this was created a bit weird. So it's created with yeah. So let us create this with add when. And then we say we have this, and then we say, let's delete all that stuff, and then we say public void introduce ourselves, string name. So this is the name. And again, let us just add this. This is Cucumber. So and we say, okay, and then when we introduce ourselves, then we set a local variable private string name equal to nothing to begin with, not set. And then we can set this this dot name equal to name like this. And then we go fix the other part right here. Like this. Then we say public void assert greeting. And here we have the total message. So this is the message that we have right here. But we also we also take in the greetings test. We are not using the greeting right now. So introduce yourself, greeting, and we say we want greeting to be this. Yeah, we're not using this, and why we're not using that? That's because I thought it would be easier. So we will go back to our file. So we'll go back to our greetings step definition right here. And again, we will say this is Cucumber. Yes, yes, yes. And we will say that we'll duplicate this one, and then we say when. And then we say we do not need to use these regular expressions. We can just say that this is a variable. So we say variable right here. And again, a variable right here. Oh, we need to say the type actually. So this should be string, this should be string, and this should be greeting. We want to, and then this should also be the greeting. And then we can actually create a new field right here. Mention greeting, not set, and then we set the greeting to this value right here. Greeting. So this means that now we actually are setting our now we're introducing ourselves, and we say that we would like this greeting. Then we assert this greeting. Now we want to use that the greeting service. So we say private final greeting service like this, greeting service, and that means that it should actually be injected. We need to use auto-wired actually, auto-wired like this, and then we just remove the private final. And we should say public like this. Let us say what does it complain about? This it's okay. We also need to say that this is a Spring Boot test. Spring Boot tests. And we use the greeting service, and then we remove this, please say, and then we have the expected variable right here as a string. So we say greeting service dot greet, and this greeting we want actually to change. We want also to have it so it has the first part greeting string greeting, and then that is the second part. So we will say %s, and then we say greeting like this. So now the greeting service actually, it has a variable and then also a name, and then it'll say hi name or yo name or whatever. So then we say greet, and then we say greeting and name, and then we expect this assertions that assert equals. Assert equals is very good to use because then you will actually forget if they're not equal, then you will actually get the value, and that's actually it. So let us see if this actually works. So we have not set. Let's see if it works in the first run, or if we had to change something. So we will say yo. We'll say yeehaw. Like let us say Nikolai instead, like this, and then please say yes. This could actually also be. Yeah, let us run this to begin with, just to see what happens now. So now we're using examples, and they actually fail. So they say we introduce ourselves, blah blah blah. So it actually fails on the first step right here. So we say this.name equal to, and maybe I don't need the what does it complain about actually? Step undefined. Step undefined. Okay. Why did it not get that step? We have it right there. We have it right there. It should actually be okay. It cannot find this step right here. We introduce ourselves as string, but that is exactly what we have right here, right? So we introduce ourselves as string. That is exactly the one you can implement. Step undefined. Okay, this is a little bit weird. It should be able to see those steps. That is why I am rebuilding the project. Cucumber Suite. It should take let's say Cucumber Glue. It should take all of these. Glue property name right there. And this should actually be okay. This should be okay now. So let us try to run again. Feature, blah blah. Oh, now it's green. I don't know what. I think it was a rebuild actually. I've seen it some comments. Okay, we're actually happy now. We are very happy. Look what we actually got right here. We got 3. Look at all these examples right here. Introduce yourself and say hi. So here we have the examples. This is the outline This is called the scenario outline. And then we have all of the examples right here. So we have introduce yourself as Mike. We say we want the greeting to be Mike. Please say hi, Mike. So this means that we expect this to be hi, Mike right here. And of course, we can also print it out in the console output if you just want to see a lot of. Then we get some output. Yeah. So that's just how I do that. So then I can press this test right here. Example one. Yes, it looks really good. Oh. Let us try again. I would expect this as output since we are printing it out. So that is why we are running again and rebuilding. Yes, look what it says here. And so now it actually prints it out. So when we click on the example, then we can actually see what it says here. Hi, Mike. Hi, yo, Nikolai. And yeehaw, Lillian. Right? So we have those right there. And you saw what I did. I actually created a new file with the step definitions. And that's also why we had to... restart, rebuild the application. It had to compile this part so it knew about the steps. Yeah. Okay, so that was actually... that was quite interesting, right? So now we also know how to use the examples. We have a scenario outline. And then we have, again, some preconditions. When this and this. Then we expect, here comes the expectation. The expect and the assertion is right here. Then please say, or we could actually also rename this to, but then we expect us to say something like this, right? And of course, we can add as many as you want right here. Of course, you will also understand that. Hello, Søren. And good day, Paulina. Good morning, my friends. Like this. So now we have many. So let us. Yeah. So now we should not be. We don't have to rebuild this time because the steps are not have not changed. It's only when the steps are changing then we have to rebuild. Now we have 6 examples. Without us actually having to rebuild. So it's only when you change the step definitions, then you need, then we need to rebuild. This was actually what I wanted to show you. The examples are awesome. It's cool. Then you don't have to create, then you don't have to copy paste the same stuff. You should never repeat yourself, right? So don't repeat yourself. Just use programming and code instead. Thank you very much, and hope to see you again soon. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.